What would make a man smile at a murder trial moments before getting the death penalty? Some courtroom moments reveal far more than just a sentence.
Expose the raw, unfiltered human reactions of killers, victims, and the families caught in between. Chilling grins to violent outbursts, these are the most shocking courtroom scenes ever captured. And it all starts with a man who tried to escape justice, literally.
1. Esteban Carpio, the masked face of violence. In 2005, Boston detectives brought in 26-year-old Esteban Carpio for questioning after the brutal stabbing of 85-year-old Madeline Guetta. But what happened during that interview stunned even the most hardened officers. While one detective left the room to get Esteban a glass of water, he saw his chance. In a flash, Esteban grabbed Detective Sergeant James Allen's service weapon and shot him, twice, killing him instantly. Then, in a move straight out of a movie, he leapt from the third-floor window of the interrogation room, crashing through glass and tumbling to the ground. The manhunt was on. For nearly an hour, police searched the area until finally, Esteban was caught. The next day, he arrived in court, not just in handcuffs, but wearing a white facial restraint mask to prevent spitting or biting. His face was so swollen and bruised that many wondered what had happened. His family exploded in anger, screaming about police brutality. They claimed Esteban was mentally ill and needed help, not punishment. But the FBI launched an investigation and ruled out police abuse. The injuries, they concluded, were consistent with someone jumping from a third-story window and resisting arrest. Esteban was sentenced to life in prison without parole, but he wasn't the only one whose court appearance raised eyebrows.
Jaleel Smith Riley, the teen whose greed took a life. In 2013, 20-year-old Portia Brooks and her boyfriend, Aaron Martin, were sitting in a parked car in Norwood when their night turned into a nightmare. 19-year-old Jaleel Smith Riley and two others approached them, attempting a robbery. When Aaron said he had nothing valuable,
Smith Riley raised the weapon Chari, and what happened next would change everything. Aaron was critically injured, his life hanging by a thread. Miraculously, he pulled through a hang, but not without lasting damage. Portia fought for her life in the hospital, but after 3 days, she was gone.
Thanks to a Crime Stoppers tip, Smith Riley was caught. In court, he pleaded guilty to avoid the death penalty, receiving life without parole. But the courtroom wasn't silent. Portia's family poured their pain into powerful statements. Her mother held up a photo of her daughter and said, "This is what I have left. I talk to her. I kiss her. I get nothing back except the reality that she's gone."
This is what I have left because of his greed, his selfishness, his complete disregard of and disrespect of others and life. This is what I have left. I talk to her, I kiss her, I hold her. But as you can see, I get nothing back except the reality that she is gone.
And when Smith Riley's defense spoke of parole,
This is what I'm coming with. Somebody that feels genuine remorse. This is somebody that thinks about this every day, and he knows that he can't go back in time and undo what he did.
Portia's sister shot back. Parole? I want my sister.
He wants parole, well, I want my sister. Let's trade.
The pain was raw, but what came next was pure arrogance.
Four defendants serve a term of life without parole. As to count 4, the offense of attempted murder.
Ryan Stone, the car chase fame seeker. Imagine hijacking a car with a 4-year-old still inside. That's exactly what Ryan Stone did outside a gas station in Longmont. What followed was a 60-mile, 90-minute high-speed chase across Colorado that looked straight out of a blockbuster. During the rampage, Ryan stole 3 cars, crashed multiple times, and ran over a state trooper, breaking both of the officer's legs. Eventually, the chase ended and Ryan was arrested. But in a jail phone call played in court, Ryan wasn't sorry. He was bragging. He told a visitor he was now famous, and even joked that YouTube should pay him because his chase went viral internationally.
My lawyer told me I made the news in the UK and Australia, paid by YouTube. So, Channel 7 News, I believe, is going to be the one that gets paid for that.
His tone changed fast when he stood before the judge. Suddenly, Ryan was tearful, blaming drugs and claiming he was still under the influence when he made those boastful calls. His family begged the court to see him as an addict, not a monster. The judge didn't budge.
And was sentenced to 160 years in prison on 18 charges. But not everyone reacts to sentencing with false tears. Some just smirk until it's too late.
One of the phone calls about seeming like I was bragging about making international news, this, that, and the other. That was within the first week of being arrested. Still coming off of drugs.
4. Michael Madison, the killer who smiled. Michael Madison murdered 3 women and wrapped their bodies in garbage bags. His crimes were cold, calculated, and showed no mercy. In court, Cheryl DeTerry's father was called to speak. He walked to the front of the room, only to find Madison just feet away, smiling at him. It wasn't a nervous smile, it was smug. The grieving father snapped. He launched himself across the table at Madison, trying to reach the man who had stolen his daughter's life. Chaos erupted. Officers pulled him back just in time. 15 minutes later, court resumed. But this time, the power was back in the victim's hand. Michael Madison was sentenced to death. He never said a word. No apology, no emotion, just that same smile. 5. Manson Bryant. Rage, regret, and a 6-year mistake. Manson Bryant had been in and out of prison since 1999. His latest crime? A violent home invasion while still on parole. He and an accomplice climbed through a window, held the homeowners at gunpoint, and stole everything they could. In court, Judge Eugene Lucci reviewed the case. Noting Bryant's remorse, he sentenced him to 22 years, less than the max. But the moment the judge spoke, Bryant lost it. He erupted, shouting obscenities, calling the judge a racist and screaming that he didn't deserve this. The judge, fed up, added 6 more years on the spot, bringing the total to 28. Bryant was dragged from the courtroom, but that wasn't the end. In 2022, the Ohio Supreme Court ruled that adding prison time for verbal outbursts was unconstitutional. They said, swearing at a judge is contempt of court, not a reason to extend a sentence. Still, by then, Bryant had already spent years behind bars for words he shouted in anger.
In courtrooms across America, justice is supposed to be blind. But when the sentence is read, the masks often fall. Some beg, some break, others laugh in the face of death. Whether it's a family's rage, a killer's grin, or a desperate moments give us a glimpse into the minds of people at their most raw and real. Which reaction shocked you the most? Tell us in the comments. And if you want more real-life courtroom drama, subscribe for the stories that make headlines and the reactions that leave you speechless.